Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing our April monthly money reset. So I've done one of these already in the past for the month of March, and we are just continuing along this journey of budgeting and resetting for the new month. If you're new here, my name is Raisa and I do these budgeting and personal finance types of videos. So if you're into that, please subscribe to the channel. Before we get into the spreadsheet, I should mention that I know we are not in the typical setup today. We are actually at an Airbnb on the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia. So we have this beautiful background here with us. We've got a fireplace kind of going in the back there. So let's dive right in. Grab your spreadsheets or whatever you use to budget and grab a drink and let's get started. Okay, diving right into the March spreadsheet. So we will be going over each of the categories. The first one is our income. So March was actually a 3 paycheck month, which I didn't realize. So I just added this extra line that we got paid on the 31st. And then also my side hustle income, I did not meet $8,000. I think I need to reset my thinking about my side hustle income. If you didn't know, I own a stationery business. So planner season is around December, January is when people are looking for planners. And I was coming off of a really good December and January. And I think I was highballing myself in February and March. So I did not make $8,000, but I did make $3,400, which is still a really good side hustle income amount. And I think in April, we'll just kind of bring the expected salary down just slightly. And then the other thing that came in was my tax return. I didn't know that I was going to get a tax return for this year because last year I actually owed the government some money. So this year was a bit of a nice surprise. We got about $1,184 from my tax return, and then I'll show you where I put that money into. So total income for the month is about $12,000, which is great. And then getting right into our savings, if you've watched my March video, you know that my emergency fund is funded automatically from my bi-weekly paycheck, and I put about $200 in there bi-weekly. So we added about $600 there from my 3 paychecks. And then the other fund that I'm actively putting money into is my birthday fund. So my birthday is at the end of May, and I put about $300 bi-weekly into that account for a total of $900. As I mentioned, I did have an unexpected tax return for this month, so I just put all of that into my emergency fund. Total savings for the month is $2,684, which is great. In terms of my investments, I do put $200 automatically every single paycheck. So we saved about $600 from those automatic payments. And then I had a bit of extra money in my bank account. So I also put about $350 into that account. And the total investments for the month is $953.58. Now for the juicy stuff, which is my expenses. So I split my expenses out into 2 different buckets. One is bill payments, also known as my fixed expenses. These are pretty much the same every single month, and they come out typically at around the same time during the month. So I'm not gonna go through each one of these because I did that in my March budget with me. Total for the month is $2,196.37. I did add one new fixed expense, which is a Sportsnet subscription, so that's about $16.79. And then getting into my variable expenses, so these categories have pretty much stayed the same. There is one new category which was not here in my March budget with me, which is YouTube. If you're watching this, then you probably know. I started posting on YouTube in the beginning of March. I wanted to start a creative outlet for myself, which is making videos and editing them and posting them for you guys. So I added a new expense category, which is YouTube, and I spent $1,285, and this is for my camera setup. So I bought a Sony ZV-1 camera as well as a tripod for it. So that was a bit of an unexpected expense that I didn't take into account in my March budget. So that was a big lump sum. And then in terms of the other variable expenses, as you can see, we've got a lot of reds here, which means that I've gone over my budget, and let's just talk about it. So for alcohol, I budgeted $25 and I didn't end up spending anything. Great. Coffee budget is $50. I was over $45. Eating out budget was $400. I went over $38 here. So I started going back into the office 3 days a week in March. The eating out budget probably needs to be a little bit higher just because I do get lunch out when I'm at work. So I'll probably need to revisit this one and increase it just a little bit. For groceries, I budgeted $300 and we went over $70.82. For personal expenses, I budgeted $150. We went over $55.07. Oh gosh, okay, shopping. Let me explain. So I mentioned in my March budget with me that I wasn't gonna shop. And this month we went over by $1,316. So if you've seen this video of mine, you can see that I unboxed a pair of Hermes sandals, which were not part of the budget. I didn't know I was getting them, and it kind of bolstered my budget essentially because I was not planning for these shoes. So that is the reason why I'm over by $1,300. And I think that's okay. I had the money to buy them anyway, and they were in my wish list. I kind of wish I knew ahead of time, but I think it's fine. We will survive, and I'm just going to pull the money and just pay for it. My business expenses, so I had budgeted $4,000 here, and I didn't end up spending a ton for my business this month. I'll get into some notable expenses in a little bit to kind of show you what I spent my money on. Transportation over about $4. Travel is over by $314. I did not budget for anything for travel this month. We'll have to see what the $314 is from. Cypher is my cat. I spent $9.50. Vacation, again, was not budgeted for, but I spent $452. Treat yourself. I mean, the Hermes sandals are probably the treat yourself item here. YouTube sponsorship, that was budgeted for. Snowboarding, I spent $23.58, and then I already mentioned the YouTube camera. So total variable expenses for the month is $6,634.52. We're actually still under budget, but I just spent more on personal stuff versus business stuff this month. All right, let's take a look at some notable expenses. So if I go into my expense log, I already highlighted in green some of the ones that I wanted to share with you guys. So YouTube sponsorship, I paid a YouTuber to talk about my business on their channel, and I paid $550. Next is for vacation. So this was a bit of a spontaneous, unplanned vacation. My partner's birthday is on Tuesday, and we decided to go to the Sunshine Coast for a couple days. So this was $452.27. We already talked about the Hermes chypre sandals. They were $1,176.88. Yikes, that's a lot. The other one is I booked a train from Paris to Nice for our friends trip in May. That is $270.36. And then the last thing that I wanted to call out is the linen notebooks inventory that I ordered for my small business. So they will be launching at, I want to say, the end of April or early May, and the inventory cost me about $400. So that is what I spent in March. It was a lot. A lot of it was really unexpected shopping and vacation and travel. So hopefully we'll do better in April. Okay, so I just sat down and did my April budget, and I will take you guys through them. In April, I believe there is only a 2 paycheck month. So corporate job 1 and 2 expected about $2,000 in income. One exciting thing that's happening in April is I do get a corporate bonus, and I'm expecting about $5,000 from that bonus, which is really, really exciting. And then my side hustle income, as I mentioned, I'm lowering my expectations here a little bit and bringing it down to about $5,000. So expecting about $14,000 in income for the month of April. In terms of savings, same thing as the previous 2 months. I put about $200 bi-weekly from my corporate paycheck into my emergency fund. So putting in $400 monthly, and then continuing my birthday fund, which is about $300 bi-weekly from my corporate paycheck. So that should be $600 for my birthday fund for the month of April. I did not write my money goals in here yet, but I will add them in later. And then getting into my investments, same as before, $200 into my Wealthsimple TFSA account from my bi-weekly paychecks. I should mention that if I do have any extra money, I will be putting it right into my emergency fund. I'm very bullish in my emergency fund. I talk about it in this video of mine where I talk about my net worth at 29. Okay, talking about my fixed expenses, these don't really change a ton throughout the month. So this is pretty much the same as the previous month. And the total budget for that is $2,170.49. And that is what I know I have to pay every single month, because these are either my rent, my living expenses, phone bills, my subscriptions, etc. And then getting into my expense summary. So my categories stay pretty much the same as the previous month. The only thing that I changed here is that I added into my eating out, just because I do go into the office about 3 days a week now. So I added just a little bit more. This used to be $400, now it's $440. I also added into my shopping budget just because I am anticipating the Sephora sale. If you know, you know, they have a sale twice a year, and that's usually when I stock up on my skincare and my makeup. So I added an extra $50 into my shopping budget. I lowered my business expenses from $4,000 to $2,000. I'm not expecting to buy any additional inventory just because I'm still waiting for the inventory from the previous month. And everything else is pretty much the same. So transportation is $10, $0 for travel. Cypher is $30. Nothing for vacation, nothing for treat yourself. YouTube sponsorship is the same, $5.50, and then snowboarding is $0 and $0 for gifts. So total for my variable expenses is $3,705, which is great. And if I actually take out my business expenses, that is only $1,705. So I'm feeling pretty good about my April budget. We will see what happens in the month of April, if there's anything that changes or how I do with my budget. That is it for my April budget with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, and wherever you are, I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye guys.